impeachment's what really matters. This is Adam Schiff apparently getting shut down. And where was this at?
He was speaking at the Armenian Genocide event.
Okay, so Cenk Younger wasn't there?
I'm assuming not.
All right.
I mean, there was no horses to fuck, so I'm guessing he wasn't there.
All right, let's check.
You saw how quickly everybody wiped their hands at him, right? Bernie,
oh, yeah,
everybody's
Bernie, yeah.
like, I've never met the man.
Well, because here's what happened. Bernie endorsed Cenk and was like, oh, yeah, this guy's great. And people, it wasn't because of the horse fucking. People go, it's a horse fuck. It wasn't because of the horse fucking, because that horse fucking clip that we played was from like 2013. He's actually, there's a compilation of him talking about legalizing bestiality. That wasn't the problem.
That was his misogynistic, homophobic, racist
kind
old blogs.
Kind of. I believe the real problem. Had to do with his Armenian genocide denying. They
really think that's the big issue?
Yeah, because a lot of these people voted. To recognize it just recently. So I think that's the real problem. But here, let's check out what happened. This is Adam Schiff.
You should be in jail. You will be in jail. We're gonna take the Senate.
Why is James Hetfield there?
2020
jail.
Y'all know what time it is. That's the point in front of the library. Adam Schiff was here. You know what we doing.
You're going to jail. Oh no, is this what's his face?
Hey, you sent it to me.
Is this what's his face?
That's the point with Brandon.
Oh no, I didn't even realize this was him when I sent it.
Oh yeah.
Recall Schiff! Recall Schiff! Recall Schiff! Recall Schiff! Recall Schiff!
Know where we at, you know what we doing. Adam Schiff's here, popping off.
It's popping off.
I don't like the fact too that he got punked by Chris Cuomo and now he's back to being a tough guy. Like, he's just gonna pretend like it never happened.
And so I'm grateful.
You know, I'm so sick of these people though. I'm just, the only thing I'm sick of these people is all these people are still in 2019 brimming with hope that any politician's ever going to go to jail ever for anything. They're always like, this is it, you're going to jail. Yeah, just like Hillary, just like Obama, just like all the other ones that are crooked, right? That nobody's going to jail. By the way, the people on the left that want Trump to go to jail, guess what?
He's not going to jail.
Once you get to a certain level, they got to catch you with a fucking, what was the quote? There was an old politician that said, the only way they'll ever get me out of office is if they catch me in bed with a dead girl or a live boy.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
You should go to jail.
Don't touch him, yeah!
You should be in jail. You are a disgrace to the House of Representatives. You will be going to jail for treason. You will go to jail for treason. No disrespect to you all. I'm glad you guys are getting recognized for your genocide. But this man is a liar.
Well, I get it, but I don't think it's a great place, like people recognizing a genocide for you to start doing this. You know what I mean?
It's very bad optics.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't show up to, like, you know, there's certain things like the Holocaust or the Armenian Genocide or the Holodomor. Like, you can't just show up and be like, I'm mad about something you did on Thursday. And it's like, we're trying to have a nice, moment here. We're recognizing a genocide.
You should be in jail. Don't put your hands on me. Who the f*** is fighting you? You should be in jail. You will be in jail. We're going to take the Senate.
All right, we heard you.
We're going to take the House. 2024.
What a terrible place to do this.
Terrible place. Also, I don't like when these guys do this and then just repeat themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, make your point and then go. That's the best way to do it. Because even if people look back on you and go like, oh, that guy kind of came off like an asshole. He just made a scene. Like, make your scene quick. Go, fuck you. You're going to be in jail. We're going to take the Senate back. Don't impeach, and then leave. But he's just repeating. You're going to be in jail. You're going to be in jail. You're going to be in jail. All right, we heard you, dude.
The elevators for members only.
And I don't know why the guys from the band Anthrax are fucking trying to disrupt this event.
And no disrespect. You will be in jail. You will be tried
We
for
heard
treason.
you. No, he won't. That's never going to happen.
Of course not.
Criminal. You're right. You have every right to say what you want to say.
What a terrible place to do this,
Yeah,
man.
this was not. This wasn't like he was at a town hall.
Right.
You know, and he was just like, all right, any questions? And people just started hammering him. I mean, again, this is like any other genocide recognition
shit.
event.
I got another plumber.
You got to
Can you give me a
fucking.
second?
All right, yeah. This is like any other situation where there's a, like, we're recognizing a fucking genocide here. This is like millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people who've been killed over time. This is a big historical event. And now we're going to show up. We're going to make this all about me. I'm going to repeat myself. You're going to go to jail. You're going to go to jail. You're going to go to jail. Dude, these guys are everywhere. The congressmen, the senators, they're going to appear at many events that you can disrupt. And many of them aren't. They don't have the solemn, stoic vibe to it as, hey, let's discuss a horrible genocide in which many, many people were killed. That's just not right. So I don't know. I don't agree with the optics here. I think it's terrible. I don't think anybody's doing themselves any fucking favors in this situation. And I know people go, "Ooh, optics cuck," but optics are important. Optics are very important. If you learn, look at what the Groypers did. They didn't really, the Groypers never like disrupted an event. You know what I mean? They sat, they gave the guy their time, they didn't interrupt, they didn't yell, they didn't hoop, they didn't holler, they didn't make a scene. They waited their turn. Many of them didn't even get to ask the fucking questions they wanted to, simply because they were being polite. They were told, sorry, you know, we can't let you do this, we can't let you do that. So what did they do? They did the right thing. They recorded all the incidents where they were getting fucked over. They were recording all the, you know, keeping a record of all of the suppression of what they wanted to say to people, recording Dan Crenshaw when he would do the 2 separate lines thing, when he was threatening people with the, you're going to regret this. Trust me, you're going to regret this, fucko. All that kind of shit. So, and plus, I mean, if you're going to show up and disrupt an event with a congressman like this, and you're going to, you know, like, at least dress nice. Like, these guys are dressed like they're in fucking Wu-Tang Clan, and they're just disrupting a fucking event. It's ridiculous. They're just describing how this is in complete parallel to, like, look at what the Groypers did. They showed up, they wore their suits, they had their rosaries, they waited their fucking turn. Charlie Kirk wasn't going like, hey, you know, I'm all about, you know, slap a green card onto a diploma. They weren't like, you're gonna go to jail. Like, they didn't do that.
Somebody in the chat says, wear a suit, faggot.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they're dressed like they're fucking homeless.
It's and again, I haven't seen this what Brandon's gonna say yet, but I guarantee you, instead of having a reasoned take like, you know, I agree. Like, I agree that, you know, they're not going to impeach the president. But I don't think this is a great place. He's going to go, yo, and I'll fucking fist fight Schiff right where he's standing, dog.
Well, oh, yeah, no, that guy. I thought you were saying Schiff would say that. I was going to say, we're not talking about Joe Biden here.
So this is, did someone get knocked to the ground?
Oh, yeah, this gets ugly.
Whoa. Hey, please leave my wife alone. Please leave my wife. That's my wife. Don't do that. That's
your
agenda.
What's hilarious to me, too, is how many frail old boomers are here. The fuck is this?
So do you guys understand that you look fucking terrible?
This looks very bad. This makes Schiff look good, right?
Yeah, it does, because he's standing there quietly.
This makes Schiff and his supporters look good. Woo! People are saying anthrax brings the pit.
Oh my gosh! What are you guys doing?
Call the police.
What the fuck? So they're trying to pull some flag from somebody is what's going on?
Yeah. This just makes me fucking sick. You know what I mean? Like, this really makes me fucking sick. And by the way, this is going to get worse. This is going to get worse. Everyone keeps saying there's going to be a boogaloo. There's going to be a civil war. And I don't really believe that. But look back at, like, the 70s. We're heading towards like, you know, I don't
Weather
think we're
Underground?
Yeah, like I don't think we're going all full Civil War boogaloo style, but I do genuinely believe that we're gonna get like the 70s again with car bombs going off in front of fucking buildings, and you know what I mean? It's gonna start going that route. I mean, it's not hard to get ammonia nitrate and fertilizer and pack a trunk of a car with it. So I'm just
great.
saying.
Now people are writing it down.
I don't think ammonia nitrate and fertilizer is a big secret. I mean, that's how they did.
Not anymore.
Sorry, it's my fault.
Great.
If anything happens, but yeah, that's what I think. I think we're headed to a real divisive, violent time. But I don't think it's going to go Civil War style. But I do think a lot of people are.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be guns in the streets and blood in the drains until they scab over. It's going to be a lot of, you know, they've talked about Antifa. You know, they've cut Antifa with plans of putting concrete on railroad tracks. You know, which think about that. Think of what happens if you do that.
Yeah, they've been doing that with trains.
Yeah.
There've been, and honestly, even in non-political situations. I've been watching like videos, like even videos where they interview like any kind of rapper or like significant black actor or something like that.
Which sometimes are the same guy.
Usually, mostly Method Man. I only watch Method Man interviews.
Most stuff.
Yeah. That's another problem is like I'm seeing how these fucking like interviewers and how these like black celebrities are starting to shape it where it's like, it's Trump's America now, man. All white people are white supremacists. And it's like we're so much worse off than I remember us being raised.
Oh yeah.
Like we were cool when we were kids. Like when we were kids, we got, like I grew up in a mixed neighborhood. We got along. Yeah, there was always a little bit of black versus white tension. There was always a little bit of like, if you got your ass beat, they're like, yeah, take that, white boy. But never to the extent of like, oh, he's white, let's go fuck him up. Like it was usually you were getting your ass beat for some, you know, behind some other shit you did, and then they'd kick you in the fucking head and be like, yeah, take that, white boy.
Today on Daywave, I actually watched a 1999 video of like the last day of high school for some from high school in California, all white, by the way, and it was hilarious to just think like, wow, we were so much more chill. Like it was them going, hey Cindy, what are you videotaping her? Everyone's wearing Jinkos, by the way. No effects shirts are everywhere. This is before 9/11. We had nothing to worry about. There was nothing to fear.
We were going to be prosperous and peaceful forever.
Yeah,
there was never. Our future was bright.
And it was hilarious. And now, you know, every day, and here's the thing too. It's like it's a catch-22 with a lot of the stuff because we had it kind of goes in relation to this to how bad it's getting, right? We had a video that we wanted to play. We can't play it, but we had a video that we wanted to play of this white kid wearing a MAGA hat in a school bus and like getting jumped by like
fucking
3 or 4 black people. We're fucking wrecking him. Now, this video has been on news sites. It's been on, and not just conservative news sites. Like this video has been on legitimate news sites. Mm-hmm. But anybody that's been playing this video, has been getting hit, getting popped. It goes down. What did they take it down for? I think
hate speech.
Which
well,
doesn't make
it depends
sense.
on the thing too, because like, you know, if they had taken the video down for the old reason of like we don't show violence against kids, they've already established that rule.
Right.
And I'll be honest with you, I'm sort of okay with it. Like I think like you should be allowed to show it if you blur the faces or whatever. But like
people were doing that and still getting hit.
Well, no, I know, I get that. I'm just saying, like, I understand if there's a fine line where they're like, we don't want to just have videos of like kids getting their fucking heads kicked in. At the same time, Crocco, Faded King's bringing up. Davy Crocco got popped, but I got to be honest with you, he didn't title it very well.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't title it the way I would have. So he got a hate speech strike because it was like, 3 black kids beat up white kid because of, whatever, white hatred. And it's like, well, yeah, that's
but again, that's my point of like you said, it's not going to be like a civil war in terms of like, we're not going to be out there with muskets. Because here's the thing, even in the Civil War, it was brothers fighting brothers. You know, it was people that in any other point would actually be friends, or not even friends, but get along. And it was like, shit, we got to fight each other. There's nothing we could do. Here this is even different than that, because the Civil War, there was like, it was state rights, it was slavery, it was a tangible thing that you could go, look, this is what we're divided about, this is what we're fighting for. There's nothing really tangible. I mean, there's a lot of things that people are mad about, but if you were to go, well, why do you hate blah blah, it'll be, because of this and because of that and because of the this and because they smell, and it's like, no, I get it, but we're not fighting from some overreaching law or anything, which there's a lot of overreaching laws, but there's not like one thing that we're all united and split because of it. We're just angry because we're being told that we need to hate each other. We're being told that this guy's a fucking asshole. This guy's a dick. I hate the fact that, going back to that kid that got beat up, I hate the fact that we live in a world now, and I don't want to think this way. But I hate that we live in a world now where, the first thing I thought was? Why would their parents let that kid wear that hat to school? But I don't want, but don't get me wrong.
I know.
I don't want to think that way. And I think that kid should be able to wear whatever hat he wants, but it's just one of those where you're like,
remember, we had a whole episode where we argued over that. It was the same thing, yeah.
But I don't want to think that way.
No, of course
that kid
not.
should be able to wear a MAGA hat. Dude, when fucking Obama won, there were kids wearing humongous down to their fucking knees hope shirts with Obama, throwing up gang signs, and nobody gave a shit. Those kids didn't get beat up. Nobody got fucking hurt. We should be allowed to wear MAGA hat. Even if you might think they're cringe, it doesn't matter. You should be allowed to wear one. You should also be allowed to wear a fucking pussy hat or a Bernie hat and not get beat up. But it sucks that I think that I caught myself thinking that, and I'm like, God, I'm being conditioned to think this way. I'm being conditioned. We're all being conditioned to think this way, to go, it's better. It's just better not to use your First Amendment because you just might get murdered for it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you should be allowed. Man, when I was a kid, and I'm sure like when you were a kid too, every fucking homeroom had a picture of the current president in the classroom. At least I don't know if I remember that, but maybe. My schools did. A lot of schools. I'm sure some people remember that. Every school.
I think we had ours like in the office, like the main office for the principal. We did have like every year they would update it or whatever.
Of the current president. It doesn't matter who the president was. It wasn't. Now you can't even wear a. You saw a girl was at. This is another story. It all relates to this, by the way, guys. So it's not like we're getting off topic. We're gonna keep playing this, but I think it's an overreaching thing. Like the high school girl that was wearing a Women for Trump pin, and not a student, faculty ripped it off of her and took it from her. So we're at each other's throats at every fucking step of the way, and I don't really see a light at the end of the tunnel, because look, don't get me wrong, I don't know people like when the boogaloo and we get my gun. That's not gonna fix anything, guys. No. As much as I would like to think that you should have a right to bear arms, it's getting really dicey in Virginia right now. Virginia's getting really dicey.
Yeah.
Because you have sheriffs saying, fuck you, I'm not enforcing it. You saw the sheriff goes, I'll deputize everybody that wants a gun. That way they can have a gun.
And now they're bringing the National Guard in. It's going to be very
weird. And so
weird.
far, the National Guard has said,
Can we just cool
out
out?
of this.
I will leave you in. But this goes back to like when we were debating the whole MAGA hat thing, right? And even I think when I was trying to make my point that I was making, I think that I agree with you in that when it was being overlooked when I was making my point that I don't think that it's right that you shouldn't be allowed to wear a certain kind of hat either. I was never saying it's not okay to wear a MAGA hat. My whole original point was there are some people that go into a Mexican restaurant wearing their MAGA hat like right after like a contentious rally, and they're you know what I mean? And then there's a whole fight, and then they go like, I was assaulted for wearing a hat. It's like, I get it, but you know what I mean? Like there's sometimes where I'll even be like, I'm going to pop this hat off real quick and just try to get my meal. I want my tacos. But I don't think there's going to be a civil war, and here's why. The Civil War broke out back when we barely had a federal government.
Soros was just 5.
He was only 5 years old. This is true.
You can look it up.
But there was really no federal government. I mean, there wasn't. But it was mostly states.
Yeah.
And then after the Civil War, Lincoln fucking expanded the federal government to the point
what else expanded? His brain pan.
Well, that's true too. Yes, what expanded was the round as it expelled out of his skull. But he definitely expanded the federal government's power in sweeping motions, so that really prevents any future civil war. So if there's any civil war it's going to be more of like a dystopian fight with the citizens against the government. I don't see that. I see more 70s style.
But here's the
happen.
problem with this. Okay, so you see like the citizens against the government, right? I don't even. It's not going to be a citizens against the government because half of the citizens agree with the government. Like, there's not all of them, but there's a lot of them. Like, you're right. We should take care of interracial trans children fucking your babies. There isn't the look. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure you could find videos of line in fucking Kentucky in the hills, or even fucking Ocala here in Florida, of people just armed up and ready to rock. But it's not like back then. Back then, we didn't have TV. We didn't have a fucking PlayStation. You know what I mean? We didn't have a fucking iPhone.
No Amazon Prime.
No Amazon Prime. We didn't have fucking TV to watch.
The Mandalorian wasn't out.
Yeah, back then it was just like, I mean, I guess we'll just go kill each other. There was nothing else really about it.
Yeah, back then it was like, no, we're going to murder these fucking British and get them the fuck out of here. Or it was like, no, we're going to fight the North or we're going to fight the South. Nowadays it's like, do I want to shoot at the National Guard or do I want to go to Wendy's?
Right.
Wendy's sounds kind of dope.
Yeah, right, because 5 for $5, I'm going to do that. but that's exactly the point. Like, I don't know if that's the end in sight. I think that this is the truth, right? We are in kind of a, and I don't know, it's because it's drones are doing all the fighting or whatever, but we are kind of in a peace. And I don't know, people, we've been in war in Afghanistan. I know we've been in war in Afghanistan, and look, it sucks that there's still people in the Middle East dying. But if you look at the numbers compared to like when we went to the Gulf War, for example, the first time, it's a lot less people dying. You know, we figured out a way to have basically robots are going to fucking take care of most of the stuff, right? We don't really have anything to fight for. We really don't have anything to stand for. We really don't have anything to unite us. We're just at each other's throats all the time. And look, man, I'll be the first to say it. I'm guilty of that. I mean, I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of being like, oh, fuck the dude. But I don't really see. I mean, I remember a time where your neighbor was a fucking Democrat, you were a Republican, and you'd be like, "Hey, Bill, you really think Clinton's gonna pull this one off?" And they're like, what? Do you want another Bush? And you're like, all right, coming over the barbecue, and everything was fine. But now it's like, you voted for Trump. I will literally eat your children. And you're like, whoa, we're coming to a place where we can't even work. We can't even work with each other. You know,
and people I know who aren't even remotely angry people that I knew of back in the day are so angry now. Like, everybody's angry. Everybody's angry and everybody's wound up to the point where, like, I won't even fucking stick up for myself in certain situations now. If I feel outnumbered or, back in the day, it was like, I could be in a whatever, I could be at a fast food place and it could be mostly, let's say, black people in the fast food place, and a guy could cut me. And back then, you could get away with like, hey, my man, you just fucking cut me, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Don't cut me. And there's a good chance that dude would be like, whatever, or there'd be a little situation and nobody would really pick sides. Now that entire fast food restaurant's going to fucking beat my ass. And you've seen enough videos of people just getting fucked up in a McDonald's, and you're like, you know what I mean? So you're like, well, I just let them cut. So it's kind of a scary time.
And I know this was a weird jumping off point for this video, but I think it really is. This is a symptom of what's going on. These things are going on. Like, you understand, right or left, it doesn't matter that you can't have a day of remembrance for an Armenian Genocide. Even if you hate, I hate Schiff. By the way, I do not like Adam Schiff. I think he's a butthole-eyed, scummy piece of shit trying to run a false impeachment, right? But is this where you're going to make your stand?
Yeah. No, this was bad. I mean, and look what this is turning into in this video. I mean, this is, again, this is an event for the Armenian Genocide. And now they're knocking chairs over and fighting old people. Like, I don't know. Could you imagine if somebody died here? One of these old, frail boomers.
Heart attack? Yeah.
Fell on, because that's in one of those auditoriums that has like the hardwood floors, like a basketball court. Like, imagine if one of these old fucking frail boomers fell and cracked their head on the fucking floor and died at an Armenian Genocide event. Like, what terrible optics that would be.
And some people are saying, I can't wait until whites are a minority. I'm sure we'll all be treated better. Look, man, I'll be the first one to agree with you that it's really fucked up that you can't stand up. how many times have we talked about this? But you really can't stand up and say, "Oh, I'm a white guy and I'm happy." You know, I want to marry a white woman. I hate that we live in a culture where you can't do that. That's fucking disgusting. You should be able to say whatever you want to do that. But if you think, look at this fight here. I just want to point this out. This isn't a bunch of black people fighting a bunch of white people. This is a bunch of fucking white people hitting white people, and there's a lot of white people that don't like Trump, guys. There's a lot of white people that don't like you.
And look at these, like...
They don't like any other... There's other white people because of white guilt that don't like other white people. So I understand. I know the whole 13 do 50, and I agree, and I think there is something to be said about that, and it's something that should absolutely be looked into. And I don't think any country should have to worry about whatever their home race is being turned into a minority. I don't think that should happen. I think that's disgusting. I'm actually for a net zero immigration policy, which means 200,000 people leave this country every year. We could bring 200,000 people in, but not one more, and that's it. Let's keep it where we're at, and we could go from there. I'm perfectly fine with that. But to think that this problem is only like, it's because of the blacks.
It's not. Look, because honestly, why are we letting in all these people? Why are we being told that we shouldn't even be allowed to enforce our existing laws that make certain people illegal immigrants? We can't even kick out the ones that are here illegally. Mm-hmm. It's because of our own self-hatred. It's our own self-guilt. So it's like, who's destroying this country more? To me, when I see these events, it's a lot of white women. It's a lot of their cucked kind of soy husbands who are just happy to have somebody to come in. Like, there's a lot of this where it's coming from us. Like, we had a country back in the day that was serene and ideal. And we fucked it up. Like, we had all the power. We fucked it up. So when you go like, well, it's making it, like, I get, like what Royce was saying. I get your point. Like, demographics and stuff are around. To say demographics are everything is kind of a little bit extreme. To deny that demographics play a role in a society is just fucking lying to yourself. But who did it? And somebody said, yeah, well, it's the Jews and they're under a Jew spell. Okay, fine. But why did we, at what point did we not just say fuck you? You know what I mean? So we're at fault also. Like, to pretend like the boomers and shit aren't at fault, it's just ridiculous. We did it to ourselves.
Look at this. This is a bunch of fucking white people fighting with each other. Yeah, and let me tell you something. If this was a bunch of black people and someone was screaming World Star, we would all be like, oh, look at them. They can't even be people.
Yeah.
You'd all be screaming, going, look at them. Look at them. Oh, well, what are you doing? You're gonna beat each other up like you always. Hey, this isn't South Side of Chicago, buddy.
If it was all white people there, this wouldn't be happening. Well, we showed up to a fucking Armenian Genocide event to scream at a fucking congressman and start fist fights with old people and went, yeah, dude. And then Brandon taped it all and went, look at that, huh? We're owning the libtards.
Can you imagine if it was Ted Cruz at this Armenian thing and it was Black Lives Matter person that was screaming that to him? Everybody here would be like, fuck is wrong with this person? It's
time and a place.
Right. And look, I am all for these people being, again, and I not to circle back, but it's like what the Groypers was doing. They waited, they sat there, they stood in a line, and they go, hi, it's question and answer time. I'm going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Here it's just like, fuck you! I'll fucking kill you! You're like, what?
Even when they straight up told some Groypers, hey, fuck off, you're not even going to be allowed to answer a question, all they did was start taping and get it on tape and then politely go, so you're not even going to let us ask a question? No, sorry. Well, that's kind of, okay, that's unfair. I'm a student here. But they didn't, at no point have I really, there was one or two in North Carolina that weren't impressive. There were a couple people who were cringy. But I'd say the batting average of the Groypers was really good. Most of them were just like.
I would agree with that.
Hello? Hi, I'd have a question. Like, look at what Vince did. I thought that was brilliant with the whole just asking Matt Walsh straight up. Asking questions calmly. Even the guy that got kind of pissy with him was hilarious. The one that's like, nah, why don't you tell me?
Yeah.
Like, but they weren't flipping chairs over and fist fighting people. It's an old man.
Oh my gosh! What are you guys doing?
Call the police. Whoa.
Embarrassing.
He's assaulting! He's assaulting people! He's assaulting! He's assaulting people! He's assaulting!
The Boomer Boogaloo
Is he
begins, brother.
Is he assaulting people?
I don't know. I can't quite make out what he's saying.
Okay.
He only said it 57 times.
People! Right here! Don't touch my wife! Don't touch my wife! Don't touch my wife! Please don't touch my wife!
Why are we touching people's wife? I don't even look. By the way, I don't even know whose side is who was at this point. But don't be touching anybody's wife.
Hey, don't touch me. Don't touch me. He stole that. He stole that. That's not yours.
This new Cocoon movie looks lit.
Yeah, it really is. Look, I get it. I complain a lot about reboots, but this one's pretty dope.
Look at this. This is.
There's not one young person in it. There's two young white guys that showed up, turned it into a shit show, and now all these old boomers are fighting each other.
Little Kids Foundation. Little Kids Foundation.
Don't touch me! You just elbowed me! Don't touch me!
I'll tell you who's laughing.
Shut up.
I'll tell you who's getting a good laugh out of this right now. The Turks.
Yeah.
You think Erdogan is watching this going, they can't even have one event.
You need to learn how to respect women. You know that? She told me shut up, and she should not say that.
Fucking Abe Vigoto over here.
Old Italian guy.
This is great.
She tell me to shut up.
No.
That might be an old Armenian guy.
It actually might
That
be.
sounds like an old
Well, that
Armenian
whole
guy.
region is
Yeah.
very.
That looks like an old Armenian guy.
You don't have the right to touch her. She said, then I said, shut up. You don't have the right to touch her.
Please take your seats.
Has that ever worked in
You
the
know
history
who's
of the
not
world?
on that stage anymore?
Adam Schiff.
He's already like, I'm out of here.
He's already in his limo.
He's like, I'm
Get
fucking
me the
out
fuck
of here.
out. Just go back to the
I'm
hotel.
fucking out of here.
But I always love when there's that one meekish guy that goes up. Remember, like, this is like the principal in like a really bad high school. That's like, everyone sit down. It's like, remember that scene in Lean on Me when he first got to the school and everybody's just throwing shit at him and yelling?
Shame on you!
Mr. Schiff. Congressman Schiff.
God, he's such an ugly man.
He does have a creepy, he really does look like a ventriloquist dummy, right?
He looks like Kevin Spacey was left in the microwave too long.
He really, like, he has if you just drew some lines right here, he would
Yeah.
look like a ventriloquist doll.
Hey, Congressman Schiff, do you think the
Fucking look at his security. That's a big boy. Look at the security guard. Is a big boy.
And he's looking down at his butt like, you a 9.
impeachment will fall through in the Senate? Do you think the impeachment will fall through in the Senate?
This is a great job, guys.
Hey, Adam Schiff, do you
And I don't want to hear, because this is what I always hear every time we talk about this, and in the comments whenever we talk about this, it's a lot of like, well, they do it to us. Yeah. And they look like absolute lunatics.
Yeah. There's a lot of they do it to us, so let's do it to them vibes happening lately.
Hey, they're trying to fuck our kids. Let's fuck theirs.
But
Use that logic. Use that logic.
But that's been my comeback for a long time now. When people go, well, we got to start deplatforming them because they're deplatforming us. And I'm like, yeah, they also fuck kids. So should I just start finding like leftist people's kids to fuck? Like this isn't getting us anywhere.
Yes,
and
but it's Hillary Clinton's daughter.
But I think everybody's shifting away from what were always classically American values, freedom of speech, calm discourse between people who have differences. Like we're all moving away from it. And I always thought, well, at least the right wing, at least we're going to stay principled. How long did that last? 2 years, 3 years. I mean, look at what's going on the internet right now. You got, you got that Communism Kills, Ashley Goldenberg versus Mindy Robinson. Mindy Robinson's like basically like flashing her pussy lips and going like, this is conservative, baby. And you're like, and meanwhile, she's like, these people should be kicked off Twitter. And you're like, what the fuck happened?
Couldn't tell you. She has me blocked. For a while, too.
Do you think the impeachment will fall through in the Senate? Hey, Adam Schiff, do you think impeachment will fall through in the Senate, sir? Well, that's important.
Props to Adam Schiff for actually getting, what do you call it? Cuddy from The Wire to be his security
That's
guard.
a
I
big
think
boy.
that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Do you think the impeachment will fall through in the Senate, Mr. Schiff?
Is that who's the person screaming? It's not him, right? Is it? Because
It didn't look like him.
I just want to make sure because if I want to see who started doing it.
I think he was filming. I don't think he was. It was these two, and neither one of these two are him. So he was just filming it. But I'm sure he was thrilled it was going on. I'm sure everybody gave himself a big old pat on the back.
I don't know, man. This doesn't make anybody look good, in my opinion.
No.
Again, it's my opinion.
Even if you'd gone to that event and waited and asked a question and calmly asked him about it, that would have been one thing. But you just, this whole thing was a disaster.
Sinister Charlie, is this what Thomas does when he gets drunk before work? Then I'm all about it. Just $3.
It would have been great if somebody just went up. There was a microwave in there, and somebody just threw some hand sanitizer in it and went,
"Fuck you, Adam Schiff."
Fuck you, Adam Schiff. Wait for it. Boom! Yeah, Adam Schiff. Bye. Bye. And just left.
It's nice to see Bronson Pinochet is still around. $3 from Geisha Fox. That was Kevin, the last one. Just give us $3. Sinister Charlie again. I know where this is going. And $5 Lich Gore. Good, clean, white school. No fights. Nice, wholesome people talking to each other instead of staring at their phones. The good old days.
Yeah. And somebody said, Dan Hurd said bad optics for everybody involved. I don't know, because, again, there were people that were just there who were there to recognize the Armenian Genocide. So I don't know who the bad optics to me are the two guys that look like James Hetfield and the lead singer from Anthrax. Those were the two that really whipped it into a frenzy.
And there's a lot of people going, "Oh, Schiff has just recognized the Armenian Genocide to stop Trump's things with the..." Guys, when Obama wasn't recognizing the Armenian Genocide, a lot of you same motherfuckers like, "Hey, why isn't you recognizing the Armenian Genocide?" It's like, this isn't look, it happened, right? It's something that we should. Here's the thing, for all of you fucking like the Jews, if you're gonna recognize that one, why not recognize the other one? You know what I mean?
There was a lot of them.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
I really think that every one of them should be recognized. But I also don't think any of these should be milked to death.
Oh,
you know what I
agree.
mean? I think that, on the anniversary of these sorts of things, we should have a moment where, like, in homeroom, where you just tell all the kids, hey, today we're going to take a moment. We're going to reflect on a historical event that was terrible. And you do a quick thing. Everybody has a little moment of silence. And you move on. That's how you show respect. That's how you show a little decorum, and you move on. But the problem with these genocide, Micah Hester actually is making my point already. Fucking genocide is nothing special. It happens historically. It's been happening since as long as humans have been able to wield tools that hurt. We've been murdering each other for being slightly different. It's kind of in our DNA. There's nothing wrong with saying, let's take a moment. Let's remember what happened, the sacrifices people made, the great leap forward, all that kind of stuff. But everybody needs to stop milking it, because everybody's milking it like you're everyone I've met is the only victim in the world.
Well, not gonna.
Let's just go with everyone.
Everyone.
Let's. I don't want our Christmas present to be losing this fucking channel.
It's probably gonna be.
Yeah, true.
What are we gonna do about it at this point?
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't really hold a lot of hope for keeping this channel much longer, to be honest.